You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show.
Hello out there, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AFTERBUZZ TV after show for Project Runway Season 10. They've been hanging on for 10 seasons. I was gonna say years, but I guess it's not quite 10 years. Right around there.
10 seasons.
Because it's 10 seasons, because they kind of do like half seasons. But it's kind of awesome. It's a great episode. I'm so excited to talk about this episode. There was so much going on. But staying in trend with what we have done in the past with Project Runway, we always like to make sure that we're bringing all the fashion that's around us, because there's fashion always around us all the time when we're talking about the episode. And it's crazy to me because I was actually watching all the ads for the new season, and I thought, how amazing did Heidi look in the new ads with the smoke walking off of her. She's got that liquid metal dress on, and at one point she had this printed dress going on, and Tim's got his nice suit on, and they're just sort of walking, and there's fire coming off of them, and the wind's blowing, and I was like, oh, this is hot. They're all excited for the new season. And I was flipping through my fashion magazines like I always do, especially when I'm doing runway, because it's right at the peak of fall. Right. So we were getting all these new amazing magazines, and I found More Love that made me think of Heidi and fabulousness, and it's the fabulous Kerry Washington in Vogue Italia in a very awesome printed jumpsuit by Roberto Cavalli. And there's just this whole awesome layout in 60s gear that she's sporting, and I was just like, how fitting. Look at those shoes. Can you see those shoes?
Oh my God.
We don't have them up on our screen, but if you guys out there are listening or watching us, you really should check this out, even if you just go to Barnes & Noble and sit down and look through, because I get, just I'm sure all the designers, you get your inspiration all over the place, whether you're getting dressed today or tomorrow or whenever. And she had some really great stuff in here.
How pretty.
She's
gorgeous.
She's so gorgeous.
So
and
gorgeous.
It's Diana Ross meets the 60s meets her modern version of it.
Modern.
And I love it. And this last one I just had to show because it's very amazing and similar to Heidi's printed look that's going on right now as I keep flipping, because there is so much wonderfulness in this layout. It just kept coming.
Oh, how cute is that outfit?
I love the little cigarette pants that I could never wear, but they're always so adorable. But she had this really great printed dress, shot. I don't know where they shot this.
Courtney, do you know who makes that? Who designs that?
I actually cannot find it because I can't speak Italian and I can't read this. And usually it's in the caption, and I haven't had a chance to look through the index to figure out who this dress was. But
so beautiful.
Sick. It's this deep V. She's holding the cutest poodle ever, and it's this print. And it just reminded me that prints are obviously still huge and still working strong. And Heidi had them in her ads for the show. Carrie's got them in Vogue Italia. You guys keep your prints going because it's going to be amazing.
So we should introduce ourselves.
We're going to introduce, oh my God, Phil, it's been that long. I forgot to introduce myself. That's really sad. Hi, I'm Courtney Stewart, for those of you that don't know or maybe not remember. And I'm joined by two beautiful hosts today.
Thank you.
Whom I've never hosted in studio with before, so that's kind of amazing. Why don't you go ahead and share?
Thank you, Courtney. My name's Alina. I love fashion, and I'm really, really excited to do this with you guys because I love Project Runway, and this is just a lot of fun.
She's wearing melon pink sort of color going on today.
Yes,
for those of you that can't see us,
it's a gorgeous
adorable
color.
little summer
It's
dress.
very,
thank you.
Yes.
And it matches her lips very well.
Totally.
Thank you.
And beside Alina, we have...
Yes, I'm Lauren Mendoza, and I too love fashion. I'm a huge fan of Project Runway. I love Heidi Klum, and I'm just so excited for this new season.
I know.
And speaking of fashion, we kind of came in a little bit like twins today.
The same graphic prints because I was thinking prints, and it's literally like navy and green.
Serious.
So that's what we were.
I'm just missing my jacket.
There you go.
I know.
There you go.
Yes.
We all came the same.
Meant to be together.
It's all good.
Yes.
It was meant to happen up in Project Runway AFTERBUZZ Heaven. So, all right, ladies, we got season 10 came on the scene. Why don't we go around the table here and get our first impressions, just sort of overall of the episode, starting with Alina.
First impression was, of course, Miss Heidi Klum. She walks out in this gorgeous emerald dress.
Yes.
Dazzling in the middle of Times Square. So automatically, they're starting in Times Square. I figured, geez, this is going to be a really good season. And then I really appreciated Nina Garcia's dress, too. Gorgeous, jeweled, lace, nude. They can't do any wrong. And then I was really, really impressed with all the designers' work. You know, their first pieces. Well, I shouldn't say all because
there's always the questionable ones.
But the ones I were impressed with were really well done and just amazing. So I'm really excited for the season.
All right. What about you?
Yeah,
Flora?
I agree. I totally agree. There's always going to be in every premiere. There's going to be the designers that you're totally wowed by, and then the ones that you're just like wondering how long are they going to be around. But I agree right off the bat, when you're going to have a premiere in Times Square, or I'm sorry, a runway in Times Square, you know it's going to be a pretty intense show because in every episode they're going to have to raise the bar. So it's just making me want to know more about what's going to happen for the rest of the season. So I'm excited about it.
I totally agree with you because I saw a quick clip that was like, oh, first runway is in Times Square. And I was like, what? Oh my God, that's kind of amazing. First runway out, but kind of scary because there's always people that, I'm sorry, there's people that suck. Well, I don't want to say suck. There are people that do interesting things that confuse us. And so
they're not for everyone. Let's just say that. Their taste is not for everyone.
There's a creative genius behind it, I'm certain of, but it's still strange. And we were like, what are you doing? But they did it in Times Square and it was amazing. And some people thought people were cheering for them and it was amazing and it was great. So I think they have an interesting group of designers. I was actually kind of surprised by some of the designers because it kind of felt, for me initially, like the workroom, I don't know if it was editing or what, but it kind of felt like even some of their like separate interviews were way out of sync with what was actually going on. Like it was a strange, like it was like they were trying to make more of what was going on in the workroom for this episode, but I felt the awkwardness of them trying to do that. So that was kind of weird. But overall, I definitely had some favorites. I appreciated some things and I didn't appreciate others. So we will have to deal with that at some point. But right now, I want to remind our listeners and our viewers out there that we here at AFTERBUZZ TV, we work very hard and we come in here and we love doing this for you guys and we need your support too. So if you don't mind, every once in a while when you're shopping, because this is Project Runway, we know we shop because we all shop. You should make sure that you go to AFTERBUZZTV.com first. And then there's a little banner for you to click on for Amazon.com. And everybody knows you can find anything and everything on Amazon.com. People, I found my hair on Amazon.com, the hair that is on my head right now. So click on that banner on AFTERBUZZ TV. Thank you, Phil. AFTERBUZZTV.com, click that Amazon banner and go straight to Amazon from there. And you're not paying anything extra. You're not doing anything weird. We're not taking your information or anything like that. You're just kind of helping us keep our lights on and keep it flowing so we can keep doing wonderful shows for you guys. So hook that up and do all the shopping you like because the economy obviously needs it too. So anyway, so we want to get into the work that was Project Runway this week. So we had, basically they were required to come with a look already prepared.
Right.
And there was really not much criteria for it. It was kind of like...
that described their aesthetic.
That described their aesthetic. And they also had to create a companion look there in one day for $100 that was a great compliment to that piece. Right. So they got their money, they go shopping, they come back, we got a workroom. Seemed like the only real conflict was between two very colorful boys, Gunnar and Christopher.
Yes.
I don't really know why there was a problem.
I think there was a problem because they were so similar. Yeah. And I think it was Gunnar that actually pointed that out. Like he noticed, you know, he was like, I don't know if I really like this guy, but he's very much like me. Like he said something to that extent, and I think maybe he just sees him as competition.
I see it as jealousy and or he has a crush on him.
Yeah,
and it's like school.
It's so funny that you
maybe.
said that because I was like, is this one of those like, I really like you, I'm gonna hit you? Because it was so seemingly not
I think
anything.
he totally has
He
a
totally
crush.
has a crush.
But he's not getting the
So
attention.
Gunner's got the crush on Christopher.
Correct.
Okay, yes, because Gunner was kind of juvenile, I think.
Yeah,
he was a
immature.
little juvenile. Yeah. All right, so they had a little bicker match for a little bit.
Yeah.
For no point.
For it really was sort of
Yeah,
pointless.
it was no point. Yeah.
They seem to be. They did. Even I think her name is Sonia. Yes. She mentioned how everybody's getting along and you know, 'cause it's early. Nobody's really fighting or talking smack about anybody else. There are a few side comments about certain vintage designs.
Yeah, it kind of seems like everybody's looking at each other, like looking at them up and down, trying to figure each other out, and then making their little comments to the camera.
Each other up, exactly.
Right? Like getting their first impressions, and you know, being a little catty because they're seeing the competition.
Just a little.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it looks like.
And then there's Dimitri, who just criticizes everything. I feel like he's so
sort
cool.
of a, like boiling, like uncomfortable person. He just sort of sits and broods, like this isn't. Why would you say that? And like but he designed. Is he the one that said he designed clothes for ballroom dancing?
He was the ballroom dancer.
Okay.
Yeah, once before I think.
So I was like, okay, you're interesting, and he was from Belarus, or
correct?
Yeah, okay, Belarus. So he was a character. So he might have some colors to share with us. In the future.
He's gonna be like the silent killer. Like he's so quiet, doesn't really say anything to anybody. And then when you get him in front of the camera, he says mean things.
Yes, and I guess it's Finn. That seems like the sort of mature one that sort of says, yes, there's some people that really, their work is not up to par yet. And so he's sort of the one doing his thing very neatly and very type A and being on top of things.
I feel like Ven is also really quiet, but in a completely different way. He's going to let his work speak for him.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like he's walked into this game knowing, I mean, they have nothing on me. Because as we saw, and we'll talk about later, his workmanship is ridiculous.
It is beautiful and lovely. But yeah, so the workroom was pretty quiet this week, which is to be expected. It's still early on. There's like 16 of these people and they're all running around. And of course, speaking of running around, there was one pop of joy that was running around randomly in lots of different scenes for no apparent reason. Kuan. Wow.
I'm sorry. I am team Kuan. He is just.
I think he should be in somebody's pocket. And like when you need joy, just like throw him on the table and let him do something. Because he's
when you need entertainment.
So interesting.
Yes.
But interesting joke. We don't know quite yet what's going on. We're not quite ready to judge. But those of you, again, that are listening to us right now or that are watching us, make sure that you are judging us on iTunes. We need all of your comments. We need your ratings. We want you to go check us out. Make sure you're downloading Project Runway every week because we'll be here same time every week talking about the show and all the wonderful things that are going on. You make sure you download us and you tell us what you think. And give us those comments about what you think about the designers and everything, because we'll bring them back to the table and we'll talk about them the next week. So if you don't agree with something, let us know, because that keeps it going and it keeps it interactive and we love it. And you can also tweet us about it because we love that too at AFTERBUZZ TV. All right, so now we got the designers. We've met them. We met almost all of them. One of them popped up at the end of the meeting.
Correct.
His name was Nathan Paul. Hold on, let me double check that. Yes, Nathan Paul. That was strange. Editing again felt weird for me in all that section.
I agree.
And the way that he just like popped in like, hey guys.
I think we all gasped and were like, huh?
We
all said,
like, where'd you come from?
Who was that?
That's a designer.
Who was that guy?
Yeah.
Right.
So it was nice.
Strange.
Maybe they didn't have enough time to fit in his story or something. That's what it kind of felt like, the editing.
But usually, like everybody has like a little something, like even walking in the room, like, I'm from Brooklyn or whatever. Like we got nothing. We didn't even know he was in the room. So anywho, we're glad you're there, Nathan Paul, because you brought some fabulousness to the runway, which is where we are going right now, because that's the most important part of the show. So we'll just run our way down the runway, starting from the top. I have so many notes. I have to find where my runway notes started. Who was at the top of the runway?
I believe it was Dimitri.
Dimitri.
He was at the top.
All right.
Or wait, maybe that was.
I was going to say, hold on. I don't.
No.
I don't know.
Find him.
Then.
I had Fen.
Was it
Okay.
Fen? Yeah.
So then
I
that's
need to
where
learn to read my own notes.
I had to write like super fast and it was dark. So, and then I skipped a page. So my notes are on my second page and it was weird.
Yes.
So, all right. So we started with Fen and he walked out, or she walked out with his designs.
Right.
His first look was his white pantsuit. Sorry, I had to take a moment because it was that great for me.
I hear ya. I agree. I do.
It was just, it's hard. I mean, it's kind of like he has a leg up already because color-wise, that's just something amazing.
Right.
Like in the center of all that chaos, the clean,
Yes.
crisp white with just the colorful, beautiful one color underneath was just the most striking thing on earth.
Yes.
And I love a wide leg pant.
And the way it moved, the
Yeah.
structure,
Right.
the fit. I mean, honestly, that looks like a couture look that you see in a magazine or you go to Barney's and buy. I mean, I was like, wow. It was so good. When I saw the top, I thought, did this guy cheat? Like, are we going to find out? Is this going to be the scandal of the
later on
season?
that, who really made that?
Right,
Or did you
right.
like over your budget? I wonder that. They didn't actually say if they were like restricted to a certain budget when they had to make their initial look.
Right,
Or what they
didn't
had to
say
do
that.
because, I mean, that
And-
could make a difference. Like a huge
Absolutely.
difference in fabrics and stuff like that. But those pants, they were pleated on each pant leg on the side. Wide leg perfection. The bustier top was like sitting on her. It was fitting
It was
her
perfect.
like a glove. Like it was
Yeah.
perfection. And she was wearing the blazer as a, like on her shoulders as a
Right.
cape. And it was just all kinds of fabulous.
The shoulders were really structured as
Yes.
well, and it fell just so nicely on her.
Yes.
And the color was amazing. I
Yeah.
loved the fuchsia underneath.
So
It
pretty.
was so
I would wear that.
So good. I do have to admit, because there was a comment in the workroom about sort of his the fuchsia sort of rosebud look. Somebody made a comment sort of to the extent of, seen that, nah, it's done before. Yes, I agree. Seen it before, but it's still so intricately perfect. Like the skill that it takes to pull it off is still just astonishing. So you still get my props. I don't care if I've seen it before. I still loved it. And then he brought out a fuchsia sheath dress. It was fuchsia, hot pink, sort of not quite the same
I
pink.
think it's fuchsia, but
Somewhere in there.
subjective.
It was beautiful. I thought the dress was wearable. You
It's
could,
very wearable.
Yes.
but yet cohesive with the first look.
Definitely
I mean,
worked for the first look. I don't know how you guys feel about how forward he is fashion-wise, but he was definitely ready to wear. And it was all very striking, and I thought he did a fantastic job overall.
That's one thing I kind of noticed is that as gorgeous as it was and as perfect as all the lines were, and it also looked like something you could buy right now.
Exactly.
And it does look like something you've seen before. But the bustier, like you said, is also very striking. The dress, I feel like maybe I've seen that before, but I think what stood out the most is his skill.
Yes.
You know, I think his skill seemed to kind of top everyone.
Agreed. And you did a fantastic job, and we can't wait to see more from you. And then next up, we had Miss Beatrice.
Silence.
that's cape.
Alrighty
Yes,
then.
I know, right? If you don't have
I-
anything nice to say, don't
Don't
say it
say
at
anything
all,
else.
right?
What the heck was the Navajo cape? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh man, they don't even sell that at Kmart anymore.
Did she made that in the workroom? I didn't even see her making that.
I think that's what she brought.
No.
The cape
yes,
was with
because
the dress.
the dress was first because she made the skirt.
my
That's
goodness.
right.
Oh, yes, you're right. That's right.
OMG, she decided that was a good idea at home when she had time to think about it.
No.
I'm sorry, Beatrice. Now I understand things a little bit better about the rest of the
Right.
episode.
It looked comfortable, but
You're so
I
nice.
wouldn't wear it out.
It didn't go
that-
together at all.
Right.
And I wanted to
wasn't
like
runway.
the second look, but it was like a really bad skirt. Where are you going to wear that? It's like wearing a sweat skirt to work.
Well, on top of that, I think the top that she constructed looked poorly made.
Yeah.
I thought, and as they always say on Project Runway, I thought it looked cheap. totally on top.
Cheap. And she was obviously having trouble with it right at the end when she was trying to fix something, had a hole in it, and she was trying to sew it back together. And but I found it interesting towards the end also because she mentions that she should have done something. She should have stuck to. She shouldn't have tried to like be out of her comfort zone and do something that she doesn't do. But she had said all through the episode that she does knits.
Right.
So what do you do, Beatrice?
Her knit dress was okay. It was all right.
It was all right. It was all right, yeah. And
but it wasn't runway. No. That's the thing. And you're on a runway in Times Square.
Yeah, you got to up it just a little bit to like show for the show.
And if that was her first outfit coming into the show, I just don't feel like it was a strong enough piece.
Not strong enough at all, especially if it's supposed to signify everything that you as a designer are. Sorry, Beatrice, that did not work. But after Beatrice, we had some more fun. Her name was Lanty. Ooh. Oh, Lanty.
Fun's a good word.
Lanty
and her vintage reworking. That was fun.
Was I the only one that thought that that's not design? Well, obviously not. Patricia Field said
they all spoke about it.
That's not fair. Like, anybody could redesign.
Girl, I can cut up a skirt and put a snake on the middle and call it a new dress.
Exactly.
And what
tool or whatever.
Can somebody explain exactly what was going on? Because I didn't understand. There was like a chiffon neckline,
the stripe.
There was so the snake was the belt.
I cannot say I liked one thing about. I can't even say I liked the color. Let's just be honest here. It was.
And then her second look was.
It had like a brown tulle kind of thing going on.
I'm like, I don't have words. Like,
well, you know, one thing I noticed about her was that when she was in the workroom, she made this comment to Tim Gunn saying that she kind of just decides as she goes. And Tim was like telling her, commit. And she was like, I decide as I go. And she obviously wasn't committing. And then as she got closer to the runway, she really wasn't even confident in her look. So
there you go.
I was questioning, how long is she gonna last?
What does she have to offer? Because the python thing on the bib, on the chiffon, and it's funny because when that came out, she said it looked better to her on the runway than it did in the workroom, and I actually thought she was right. I was like, okay, maybe. And then when they brought her back to the runway to talk about it. And it was like bouffant, like up here. I was like, is she boob pregnant? And then there was no shape. There was nothing.
How do you make a skinny, gorgeous model look unflattering?
You put a sack of chiffon on
it.
And strangle it with a python pattern. I don't even, whatever. Sorry, Lanty, you sucked.
Terrible.
I hope you, I'm sure like with your interesting sort of spirit, you will bring something interesting again.
You know what? I feel these designers, even if they don't have the skill, if they have the taste and artistry and innovation, they can go somewhere. Because there's who was the girl that won? Not
Anya.
Yes.
When she first came, she said she taught herself to sew a week before.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she had what it took.
Yes. Creatively.
So.
Now, Lanty.
I don't see it yet.
Do we see anything? Because I don't see skill.
No.
Because it wasn't like sewn or put together well. It wasn't tailored well. Neither of them were flattering. And then taste didn't exist at all.
No creativity.
And there was no creative. Yeah. So
she didn't work well either. I just felt like she didn't have, she doesn't have what it would take to go too far if you continue to work that way. If you just kind of go with the flow. Like, it wasn't working for me.
We'll see. After Lanty, though, we had Andrea, the older lady. She's a grandma, and she had some black and white sort of check blocks or stripes, but they were like huge stripes.
Color block.
That was interesting.
She's very arty to me.
It was very
New
artsy.
York.
Yeah.
Right.
I think she has skill and creativity.
Yeah. She was trying to go young, and I think she accomplished that. I think her first look, though, to me was kind of boring. Like, it was kind of, even though it was modern, it was black and white and blocked, I thought, I don't know if I would even want to buy that if I saw it.
I agree.
And it was $20. I don't know if I'd want to buy it.
I felt circusy.
Right.
When I saw it, especially that first one, because it was sort of like a tent dress, but it was bubbled sort of at the bottom.
Right.
It was just this awkward fit, and I was kind of like, it wasn't special enough to be that like, ooh, couture, amazing thing coming down the runway that you're like, no, I can't wear that on the street, but wow, that's amazing. It was kind of like, I feel like there should be some jugglers walking next to them, and it didn't work for me at all. So, I mean, she was obviously in the center, not so horrible, but not so great, but black and white look good on the runway though, kind of.
She has potential.
She does. She's an interesting one to keep looking at.
Yeah.
And then after Andrea, we had Mr. Christopher with his black cocktail dress and his gown, basically. It was a very 30s inspired, very lightweight, flowy, lovely ensemble.
Yes.
You guys feeling that? Would you wear it?
I like the gown a lot. It moved like they said. It was really light. It was different. And the fabric was amazing. I didn't like the cocktail gown. It was cute, but the fit was so bad.
Why did they not say anything about the fit?
They didn't.
They didn't say anything.
I was shocked.
The bust line was horrific.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the zipper that was like sticking out like a butt tail in the back. Like what? And they said nothing. Nobody mentioned.
What I do like, though, that Lauren Graham said is that you couldn't really notice the detail of, because it was black. Like, she would have liked to seen that dress in another color. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely needed a better fit. But I also thought maybe a different color because there was a lot of detail to it, but you couldn't really pick it up. And people definitely in Times Square watching the runway, they're not going to see that.
Yeah, it's just going to look like a black bunchy mess walking down.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't impressed with that. But I did love the gown, and I love the back of the gown, like the open back, and it looked very structured. And it actually looked like it would be comfortable to wear. Like, you know, I liked it.
If I were a half of a -0 and
it's not going to go there.
You know what I'm saying? I would feel very comfortable in that. But it was lovely. He did a fabulous job. And then there was dreadlocked Alicia. I honestly, I'll let you guys start. How did you feel?
I don't love it. It's not my style. She's, I guess, creative. She's an artist.
I think she's creative, and she was definitely very urban. Like, I think you can tell what her style is going to be. And even though I wouldn't wear what she put out there, I'm interested to see what she could bring. You know, she seems like she could be a creative person that, I don't know, she interests me, but it wasn't my style, but very urban.
It was a maroon hooded jumper.
Yeah.
And a genie pant and some other interesting things. My only question, I actually wasn't opposed to the hoodie jumper thing. I would wear it, possibly. On the runway in Times Square? Like that's...
No. And your first look?
Sweats? Like you basically showed us sweats.
Well, I think we have to give them the benefit of the doubt, too, because they didn't know that their first challenge was going to be this huge runway look.
It was your first challenge. And you knew, regardless, you were going to be on a runway.
Yeah.
Somewhere you were on a runway, which means you're putting on a show. And your show was a sweatsuit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alicia. I can't vote for you on that one.
No. But...
And it was a boring, like, can I get a color that's like...
Very boring.
Right.
I barely remembered it.
Exactly. It just, because it's something you'd wear on the couch watching TV. You don't wear that on, like, you don't present that as my signature piece. That explains everything about me. I wear sweats. Thank you. And good night. Sorry, Alicia, it does not work. Elena, you were up next with your armor and fencing and all your structured inspiration in blacks and whites and
I think she has potential. The look she brought looked like it was done really well and looks like something you'd see in a Vogue magazine. But again, it's not my style. I hope she goes somewhere with her creativity and it's a little more ready to wear.
I honestly, that's one I don't really remember hers. I remember the black, but I know there were other ones with black and very structured modern look, but it doesn't really stand out to me when I think back at that runway show.
Yeah, only thing I remember is like the big heart-shaped white in the middle that looked like a breastplate.
I didn't love that look she made. here.
Yeah. No. It kind of looks straight jackety and sort of too, and I'm all for structure because we had a designer very similar to that last season, or it was a season. No, it was last season up against Anya. And he was very into those harsh lines and the structure, and it's cool. It's fun, but that was like just dark, nothing.
Very dark.
Didn't do it for you.
Coat, sorry. But then there was a very colorful Buffy.
Too colorful.
Yeah.
All I thought was rave. Do you guys know that store?
Oh, well, I wasn't thinking of the store.
I was thinking of the store, and well, she looks like a rave herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the neon and the animal print that was dragging out of something.
Too much.
I wrote mauled mess.
Too much. I wrote that it kind of reminded me of like a club scene, like something you would see in a club. I wouldn't wear it.
A trashy club?
Something, possibly. Yeah, maybe. It wasn't for me. I didn't love it. I know she wants to be bold and different, and it was, but it wasn't pulled off well, I don't think.
And I can't even say I looked at the actual models to see like styling wise if it was like exciting. Like it would look cheap and messy and nothing.
That's the perfect word, cheap.
Messy. Yeah. Sorry, Buffy, messy. You sucked too. And now Dimitri, you dark weird man, you. He had a sequin gown that I wrote Dynasty next to.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it.
It was very dramatic and it was interesting and well done, I think. It was well tailored and nice. It just was very dated to me.
Right.
I was sort of, ooh, that felt real 80s to me.
You stole the words from my mouth. Dated is the perfect way to put it.
And then he had, the second look was the cutout gown. I can't even remember much about it.
Yeah. I can't either.
There was a cutout on the side.
Blah.
I remember feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you guys will have a different opinion, but I remember thinking that his looks didn't go that well to me.
Yeah.
They didn't really fit together. Like I was a little bit more confused by it. Like you're right, Dynasty, it was super glamorous and glitzy and like.
And then all of a sudden it was like this really jersey fitted sort of cutout gown that didn't make any sense at all. So Dimitri, I'm not really sure what you're trying to tell us. But I'd like to find out. So obviously I think that's going to happen. And then we had our favorite love bug, Kuan. Kuan.
Team Kuan.
He had... I can't even talk about it. I'm actually losing my voice right now because of it. Okay, so Kuan had this polka dot jumper.
Right.
With some major hardware on the straps.
Makeup.
Major hardware. We can't forget the makeup, the styling.
Gold polka dots.
Polka dots on the jumper and polka dots on the makeup.
Forehead.
Yes. Yeah. And then he had a sparkly sack because I don't know how else to explain what that was. It was sort of a quilted material maybe that sparkled and it was supposed to be a dress.
I thought it was like jumperish too.
Jumper, hoodie.
Yeah.
There was
number.
Don't know what's going on. Don't know.
I feel like the cut of the two pieces, those I think were what kind of coordinated. But you're right. Then there was one piece that was like polka dots, and underneath it had like some like floral leopard mix.
What?
The purse hanging around.
Right, with
the purse around the neck? Why?
And then the other piece that was just metallic and just solid.
And bubbly.
So bubbly.
And the metallic piece is the one that he made at home.
No. The intricate
I thought he made the jumper there.
I think he made the jumper there.
Because that's what he was trying on for Tim.
Yeah. With the polka dots and the wildness.
I think he made the polka dots at home. That's too hard to make. He made the glitterness. I don't know. I could be wrong. We should research
Either
this.
way.
We'll have to figure it out. It might have been confusing edit-wise because he might have just been showing Tim what he already did.
That's true.
But I have to add with Kuan, like, if you know anything about the Harajuku Japanese culture, that's it.
Right.
That's it. Even him, he's like a walking poster for it. So, that's his aesthetic. And I do appreciate his creativity. He's very out there. I hope he can tone it down and come up with something that is not a joke, like Michael Kors said. Right. But I love his personality, and I hope they keep him on just for the entertainment factor.
Funny and you're cute. I like your afro.
I love his
afro. I agree with you. And that was one of the things that I thought when I first saw his looks was that as crazy as it is, and as much as I would never ever wear that, I could see that in a magazine. Like I could see that
like
in
a quirky jumper.
in those very fashion magazines. I could see that.
I can agree with that. But I do also, the judges mentioned like that the sack was like the toned down version.
Right. Yeah.
What does that mean? Because honestly, had I seen like two very cartoony, like amazing to say like wild, I guess, things, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, I get it, you're that. But now it's kind of like, that was like space age sack, don't know what I'm doing. And then it was sort of like, I'm cartoon character, funny, like cute. So I don't know what he is.
I wish he would have done his cartoon thing that I think he brought, and then done the ready to wear version as his second look.
That might have
been
the
more
cool.
toned down
right.
One. But it's just the second look failed with the big balloony, unflattering.
And I'm not sure
He's going to be interesting, though. I agree. I can appreciate his creativity.
Know that it's
all there.
All there. Remember the lady that used to spit on her clothes like a few seasons ago? And like it just didn't make any sense. So yes, you're fun and interesting to watch, and you're actually creative, but you're creative in that way that nobody will ever understand. So it's like it doesn't help us.
I think he could surprise us, though.
I hope.
I don't know.
Fingers crossed. Because in all honesty, like I feel like we don't have anybody. We need that in this season, because honestly I feel like there's a lot of middle of the road people, and there's not, and even the good people are not so like shockingly amazing. I was just like, you are like mentally like fashion forward, you're creatively amazing, and you actually have the skill to go with it. Like there was nobody for that for me so far. And so he kind of could bring that if he can figure it out, but I'm not sure it's all here. So I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
And then there was Gunner.
Remind me.
Nothing.
I know.
He was a green
dress.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, it was like an olivey green with a black down the center. And then the second look, he kind of had that on top, and then he had like a floral like fitted skirt.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was well made, J. Crew-ish.
Exactly.
He was the one that said he designs for Southern
old women. But I thought, that's a perfect way to describe it, was J. Crew-ish. I thought
it was okay. Yeah.
I could see it in stores, and it did look well made, I thought. So I thought it was good.
It was well made, for sure.
Yeah.
I just it's another one of those, it's kind of like, you didn't really do anything. Like,
didn't wow us.
I didn't wow you. You didn't tell me like why you're special. So that's why it was disappointing for me. But it was a pretty skirt. And then we had Nathan, who had a green draped cocktail dress and then another fuchsia flowy gown. I actually was kind of in love.
Yeah.
Thought he should have done better than he did.
Me too. I wish I saw more of the look. I wish I saw him more in the workshop.
Right.
So you kind of get an idea of what you're going to see.
Right.
Because what I saw was really quick, but I liked it.
Yeah.
It looked really well made. It looked beautiful.
The color
and stylish.
was gorgeous. It was like this draped knot in the front with a low V on the green dress. And then the fuchsia flowy one had a great neckline backline that was gorgeous, but we don't know anything about Nathan Farrell, but he's still there, so we'll see more.
I liked those outfits or the dresses. I thought, they were very simple, but they were really striking, and I love that they were both just two solid colors. I thought that was
very good job for him. Yeah. And then we're wrapping it on in, but we have Sonia, who did that brown jacket and some pants and then a neon green thing. She was kind of all over the place.
Yeah. I thought she had a lot going on. I think I want to see what she has to come. Maybe if she gets it together a little, makes it more cohesive. But,
It was like,
yeah.
All right, girlfriend.
Not impressed.
And I think last but not least is Melissa. Oh, no, we have two more after that. Melissa. So Melissa had all the black again.
Yes.
And asymmetrical dress, weird color, shoot on off to the side, and then another black.
I have to agree with the judges. It's really current. It looks like Alexander Wang to me.
Exactly what I thought.
What all the Hollywood girls wear.
I liked it.
I really loved it. You know what I loved? I loved her second piece that it was like almost like a leather vest on top of the long sleeve, long dress. I loved it.
I loved
would
it.
wear that.
I just feel like that was a copy of something I've seen, not even just inspired. Like it felt like a copy of something that's already been done.
It's called a Rick Owens leather jacket.
So,
I love it.
That's why I was sort of like, don't know how I feel about that. But the judges didn't say anything about that either. So
they like it because Heidi wanted both outfits.
I did too.
There you go.
I'm with Heidi.
It's just, I don't know if she should have been. We'll talk about that later.
Well, there. Then we had Raul, and he had, now he was actually interesting. He had pants with the lace. He had some nice tailored pants and a lace like blouse underneath with the jacket, and then he had the ruffly pink dress, party dress thing going on. Right. I thought it was fun because what I saw him doing in the workroom, I was like, what are you going to come up with? And it came together for me. And I mean, the dress, it was a little too much, but I thought the blouse underneath that jacket with those pants was gorgeous. And she walked out and it was very elegant, and he likes to work with lace, and I thought it was gorgeous.
Right. I agree.
But it was
okay. And I thought he was going to do a lot worse, honestly, because they totally made it seem like
his thing was like falling apart. It wasn't even a skirt, and he's running out of the workroom with a needle, like trying to sew it on the girl. So I'm glad he pulled something off.
Yeah, he brought it together.
All right.
Jinx.
And last but not least was Fabio.
Melissa and him could have, I thought they were similar.
Right. That's true.
Alexander
They
Wayne
were
is
very
again.
similar.
They were similar maybe because they both like rapped, but I wrote next to this was a sack ombre skirt. Like what? Proportions were off. Like the way the skirt wrapped, like, and then the shirt was like cropped but not cropped. It was just not. And then he said, and then it's bad because he was the guy that likes to dumpster dive for food or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Which,
so
fine,
random.
do your thing. But then I felt like I saw that come out of trash. Like that's what it looked like to me when I saw it. I was like, it looks like you pulled that out the garbage. I was not feeling him at all.
It kind of reminded me of Melissa's style, just the fabric. Shapes though.
Shapes were because they were trying to do the weird like sort of flap over flap and angles and stuff like that. But then he had the ombre thing going on, and then he had this like black shirt dress that didn't go. It literally was like a button down, like big sleeve. They didn't go together at all, and it didn't make any kind of sense. And I don't know what was going on. And he got Tim said to him, like, your skirt looks like you should just. That's the throwaway.
Yeah, that's right.
And
he should have listened.
That was a throwaway.
Yeah,
I don't even remember it. So.
I remember the skirt, but yeah, it was a little bit of a kind of pointless.
It was all kind of pointless.
Yeah.
But such is life. We end the episode. Everybody got to, run the runway and do their thing. And we have our top and our bottoms. Even though that sounds really inappropriate. So on top, we had Ven, Chris, and Melissa. And on the bottom, we had Lanty, Beatrice, and why can't I read my handwriting? Whose name is that?
And Kuan.
That's what it is. I wrote Devin. Kuan. So I guess let's start on the bottom.
You can't take away my Kuan. Not yet.
And apparently not for them, because they're just like, I don't know what to think. I think you're weird. And your clothes are ridiculous. But okay, let's see some more.
Heidi was smitten. I could tell by her face.
Oh.
He's too interesting to take away too soon. He's just.
They want to see more.
Yeah, and he does. He kind of interests you, and he's a crazy character. I think the show kind of needs him, at least for a while.
Needs him.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think they also had to put him in the bottom because it was just too out there. It was like too weird.
In his defense, it was all made neatly. Like, I say
true.
Well, but not
constructed.
It was constructed. He can sew. He can,
He has skill.
So he showed that he has skill. So he has that for his defense. And then we had Lanty.
Oh, Lord.
She needed to be in the bottom.
Okay, so we had Lanty and Beatrice in the bottom too.
Right.
So I'm sitting there thinking for sure Lanty's got to go home.
Right.
Agreed.
She's got to go home.
I think we all were on the same page.
They sent Beatrice home.
That was
and
shocking
we all
to
gasped
me.
at the same time as we watched.
Granted, Beatrice stuff was pretty much a mess, but the whole conversation was like, who would you want to see more from? And we all decided Lanty probably can't even design at all. How did that?
I'm going to say that a producer made that decision.
You think?
Because they're like, we need to point at Lanty again and be like, this woman has no taste, no style. Like, that, because that's the only way I can justify it in my head.
Because even the designers were like, oh.
Lanty.
Yeah.
You're back.
Right.
Really?
Exactly.
Amazing. Great. We love you.
It just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Sad. Poor Beatrice. You were...
I would have liked to have seen more from her.
She could have improved. She said she wants knits, and like that's something not anybody else is really like into. So it would have been nice.
Yeah,
we would have gotten something.
Yeah.
Instead, we get Lanty. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not mad. I'm okay. Then on top, we had Vin, Chris, and Melissa. Who did you guys think should have won? Do you think Chris should have won?
Just go ahead. Oh. I was gonna say I think I was predicting that Ven would win. Like, I just thought, it just seemed like everybody was noticing his skill right off the bat and everybody loved his looks. I thought he got like the best reviews, I guess. Yes. So I think I was expecting that. But I think Chris deserved it just as much. You know, I think Melissa earned her right to be in the top. But yeah, I don't think she was the clear winner, you know.
The only reason I don't agree with Chris winning is because I didn't like both the looks. And if you're going to judge both looks, Ben had two good looks. Or two looks that I thought were better than his.
I agree.
So that's the only reason I would have chose Ben. I'm not crying that Chris won, though.
Yeah.
Not crying. I'm not crying either. I think that Chris did a good job, and his flowy dress was really, really, really nice. And then the other dress, idea-wise, was nice. It just didn't quite come out as best as it could have. So I'm not mad he won, but, you know, what are you going to do?
All the right people were at the top.
I agree. Yes. I think for the most part, they picked it out pretty well, and it worked out in our favor. Poor, sad Beatrice. You were sent home for doing what you said you do, but then you said you don't do, so we don't really know what you do, so maybe that's a good reason.
And you didn't do it well enough.
Yeah. So anyway, those of you out there listening, I know it was a little bit of a long stint with all these people, but we have 16 designers. I can't wait till it really gets down to the good ones and you're like, I don't know who leaves. But before we shoot to a commercial break, I just want to remind you guys that we are on iTunes. Make sure you check it out and get the AFTERBUZZ TV app on iTunes because you can download that too. And you can hear us all the time because we're so much fun. And I know you love us. And for that reason, we're going to go to a commercial break to give you some more love because our commercials are hilarious. So enjoy.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man. No, I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AFTERBUZZ TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AFTERBUZZ TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you. And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Gotta love that scary music because this is a scary job that we have to do, especially with Project Runway because we're making predictions about the future of the show. And I'm a Ron Hard Project Runway fan. I pick my 3 and I hold on to them through the whole season, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's so hard to do that on the very first episode. But I'm going to make sure I take notes because I keep track of what you guys say. So we're going to start with Miss Alina. What do you feel? Oh, you can start with whichever one you like. Either who you want, who do you think will be kicked off first next time, or your top 3. Whichever is easier for you.
All right, I'm going to go with the bad news first.
Okay.
Lanty, the obvious.
Lanty to go.
No taste and no skill. So obvious. Raul, just because he said he's a menswear designer, he was kind of struggling. And who did I think lastly? you know, Andrea or who else? Oh, no, not Andrea. Kuan.
To be kicked off.
Yeah, because if he doesn't stop with the extreme cartoony look, like Michael Kors said, we can't, you know, have you looking like a joke.
Got it. All right. We'll keep going with who do you think will be kicked off next?
Bottom 3? Is that what we're doing?
Sure.
Okay.
Or just who you think in the next episode will be kicked off.
I kind of agree. Ooh, that's hard. You're asking me to commit.
I know. It's commitments.
I agree, Lanty. I kind of feel like she's just not going to pull through. And yeah, and Andrea too. I feel like she's going to strive so hard to maybe be younger because she's the oldest one there. Yeah. I just don't know that it's going to work out for her. So I'm going to leave those as my bottom 2.
Okay. All right. And I will join you guys and vote Lanty. Yeah. And I actually think giving her a potential run for her money might be Buffy. Unless she supremely turns it around next week. I sort of feel like they're kind of in there together. All right. Alina, who are your finalists? Top 3. We got to go fast.
Then Nathan and Melissa.
All right. Who you got?
I have Ven, Melissa, and I'm going to go with, I don't know, Gunner. I don't know, picking them random.
All right, I'm going to go with Ven,
okay,
Christopher, and my wild card, which is really, really freaking hard to pick. I'm going to say maybe Nathan is going to show us something cool.
Agreed.
So it's going to be 3 boys again? Oh, well, we'll find out. We thank you so much for joining us here at AfterBuzz TV. Make sure you're downloading us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV.com. Fudge. AfterBuzz TV only, because it's Twitter. You can follow me at Stewart Starlet.
And I'm Alina. Follow me at Alina23 on Twitter, you guys.
Ooh, I'm low_Valles, VALLES.
Oh, that sounds sassy. All right. Until next week, you guys, enjoy your fashion. Keep it stylish. And we can't wait to hear from you guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.